So Archana, you had talked about us having this invisible operating system and these inner narratives that we have. Can you talk a little bit about perhaps what we default to mostly? Like, what do we tend to default to when we go to these inner narratives?
Yeah, I'm really glad you picked up on that and we're talking about it. There's this great quote that comes up for me. We don't see things as they are. We see them as we are,
Mm.
right?
Right.
And so these inner stories that we're telling ourselves, they are with us everywhere, right? They show up to work and to PTA meetings. And inside these stories, like inside this operating system, there's something called mental models. And so this mental model, it's like an internal blueprint. And we don't necessarily sit down when we're 5 or 6 or 20 or 30 and design them. These are something that we inherit, whether we think about it or not. So when you think about childhood or culture, trauma, success, these are all the things that help develop our mental model. And the thing about mental model is like their stories. Who's the storyteller? And the storyteller is the person who figures out the point of view, right? So mental models are not like math, like they're not facts. They're sort of a lens or a filter through which we interpret facts. It's, I guess, our version of the truth.
Mhm.
Yeah. And so I'm trying to see how I could give you an example, right? When people say things like, if I don't have an answer, that means I'm no good at my job.
Right.
Or
Right.
if I show too much emotion, I am never going to be respected.
The best defense is a good offense. Right.
That's right.
That's sort of a mental model, right? To
Yes.
be aggressive and to keep, give the impression that I'm on the offense.
That's right. That's it. Like that's such a great example. And these are like emotional truths that your body, your mind, your nervous systems, they hold as fact.
Hmm.
So, here you are in a meeting or you're running a team and you are allowing these mental models to say things like, even though I am a VP, I still need to be the person who does everything,
Hmm.
right? And the thing about mental models is that they don't show up in a performance review,
Hmm.
but they do shape every interaction that we have.
That mental model might be, if I don't do it myself, it doesn't get done correctly.
That's right.
Right. Yeah. And then you
Yeah.
kind of get tied to that and it becomes part of you where you could relinquish a little, but your mental model says, if I'm not doing it, it's not getting done right. Right.
Yeah, that's right. And the great thing about mental models is that they can be changed,
Right.
right? So if you understand, hey, this is a mental model, this is a story I'm telling myself, you can change it. The thing is, many of us, we get attached to our mental models, right? We get attached to the stories that we've been telling ourselves because these are the stories that brought us to where we are today, to the success that we have today, to the person we've become today, right? Um, but Marshall Goldsmith has this great saying, and I think he wrote the book on it, which says, what got you here is not going to get you there.
Ah, that's great.
Right? So now that there is this awareness that you have this invisible operating system, now that you know that there's this thing called a mental model, what are you going to do about it?
Right.